I'm sorry, you
You know,
guys.
they always
I'm a
do crap
sucker.
like that when we're talking about like a great topic. You know.
I
That's
know.
all right. We're back.
I mean,
See,
they
my
can never
mistake
do it when
was
like the
asking
feed
you.
is dead or anything.
My mistake was asking you online, asking if he could join, and that's when he, you know,
Infiltrated.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's most bizarre because you know it's a sniper because the whole panel disappear and then disappear and then I'm left with the perpetrator. Anything.
Who was it?
I don't know. They never say. They never say a word. You just get. I just said thanks very much. So I stopped the broadcasting, and then cut the thing off because there's no point being on there with them, is there?
Correct.
With them, it just ruined the hangout.
So that Sean G that got on the panel earlier, he never actually even said anything, did he?
They chatted away in the chat room, but there was a few. I don't know, a few things he said that were a bit weird.
I haven't been reading the chat, but we know Sean and
Yeah, Sean wouldn't do that.
yeah, exactly. And it was confirmed already. She talked to him through Discord and confirmed where he was. So
Yeah, and I know for sure I don't have a fake Sean in my Discord.
right.
And this guy just called us. He said you guys are all fucking dumb. His exact words.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm sorry. It's all my fault.
Yeah. No, you're good. Don't worry about
So
it.
I'm sorry, everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm trying to invite Dre. The link I gave him, he said is not working.
Just add him to the chat.
It
It's
won't
all
let
good.
me.
We'll get back into it.
Okay, I could do it now.
We'll get right back into it. Don't worry about it.
right, just
My,
adding.
We're stupid as he tried to infiltrate a flat Earth panel. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
he went as far as using everything of Sean's, even Sean's pictures, everything. I mean, he took his time. He took his time to do all that shit.
No freaking life. It's hysterical. Yeah.
To basically be on the panel for what, like 5 minutes and just screw around for a couple minutes? That makes
Right.
that.
If he's calling us
Wow.
dumb, if he's calling us dumb and ignorant, and he's trolling us, what does that make him?
Exactly.
What does that make you, dude?
Basically, that makes him like the flea on the dog's ass.
It's so dumb, dude.
nice.
I'm laughing. I'm like, this is retarded. But yeah. So.
Hey, Dre's back.
Well, yeah. Well, Jamaican said that he even came on to I don't know if it was on here or when we were on with Dread, but he came on and said somebody faked his name out too.
Yeah, they
Yeah, no, I know that
did.
someone faked Jamaican.
Yeah,
I was there when that happened. Candy actually let the fake Jamaican on her panel.
it's not funny, but oh my goodness, these people need to get a life.
It's my
Got
fault.
no life,
I feel
that's
bad.
what it is.
It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like
They're
really.
just little teenagers just sitting there, you know.
I mean, really? Are we that much of a threat because we think that the shape isn't what we're being told? Like,
Yeah,
We don't
no,
think we
right?
know.
Like,
What are you
really?
talking about?
Is it that big of a deal? Okay.
Apparently.
Apparently it is.
well, that's like when I get people that say that they're gonna email Uber about my videos, and I'm like, and you're gonna tell them what? That I think that the Earth is flat?
Mhm.
Like, go for it.
Right. They're so offended by that. Again, cognitive dissonance takes over. Their ego gets hurt. They don't want to lose their ball.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I drive for
Right,
Uber.
Trey?
I
They
don't
don't want
work
to
for
lose their
NASA.
ball.
It's not like they're gonna fire me because I.
Yeah.
Everybody I work with know the people I deal with anyway, they know I'm a flat earther. All the kids on the bus know I'm a flat earther. So I don't hide it. Why hide it? Shit. It's pointless.
Exactly.
If anything, I'm trying to get it out. I'm not trying to hide it.
Yep.
And That's nuts, though. It just boggles my mind how much energy they invest into like being disruptive or whatever.
It's really,
You know what
yeah.
it kind of really reminds me of, man? It reminds me of when you're trying to pull the splinter out of like a kid's hand. How they really, really don't want you to do it. They will fight you tooth and nail, but the whole time you know it's the best for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as you actually pull it out, they realize it, and they realize how much of a relief it is.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Karen. I'm sorry, FPV. I apologize.
No, that's okay. It's just one of those things, isn't it?
Well, you know, this is
Marlena,
the
it's all
first
good.
time I fell for it. It's the very first time I fell for it. I gotta say that much.
Marlena, it's not your fault that somebody else is an asshole.
Wait. Marlena, you let him in?
Yeah, because he said he was Sean.
No.
So no, but you know what it is he asked, and it was funny because the other Sean, our Sean, him and I talked the other day about coming on the panel.
Right.
You know, that time that you and I were on here and you were talking about how Sean always gives the good information and stuff. So then I asked this guy, what is it, something that you and I only know together? And then he said something about Jamaican, which I know is bullshit.
All right.
So then I was like,
you asked him for information about something that's only between you guys, and he gives you information about something else.
Yeah.
That makes complete sense, right? Like.
So then I blocked him and blocked his IP.
Good. All right, good.
That shit's insane.
Well, I have also blocked Sean G out of that last group, and if it really,
yeah, because he said he's
the real one I've blocked. I'm sorry, you'll be added back, but that one sniped the thing, and they don't say anything. They sit there.
That's why. Yeah, I think it's probably a good rule of thumb. You know, that if once they get on the panel, if they don't unmute within a certain, couple seconds or whatever, it's not rocket science. I mean, I understand people have issues at times or whatever, but
they can't log me off. They can only eject you, so I get left with them.
Right. So yeah, I mean, if they don't say anything, I would just kick them off. Sort it out afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really weird and out of character for Sean not to say anything once he got on the panel, I don't think I've ever seen that from him.
Yeah, because he knows how it goes.
Yeah. We know.
Wait, I messaged him, Dre. I messaged him in Discord, and he said, "No, it's not me. I'm at ball practice."
Oh, yep. So, wow.
So we all thought that was Sean DG, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, imposters on. Did somebody see his name in the chat? Is that
no? Remember when we were just talking and he said, "Hey, can I come in?" And then I said, "Karen, I'm gonna ask you first." So whoever heard that or seen that made that account like right now, just to do that, just to be an asshole.
Oh wow!
And he's like, "Nope, what's me?"
Yeah, I'd like to get my hands around and through to some of these people. just for a couple minutes.
Give them some shaky baby syndrome.
They haven't stopped it. They
just to turn him into a Smurf real quick, Dre.
Yeah, a little something like that. You know what I mean? I'll let them go right at the very last moment. When they can turn, they can actually come back. I ain't gonna front though.
Right.
I wish I could invent like a delete button that worked on people. That would be fucking awesome.
Oh, dude, I thought about that, like a remote control or something like that. Just be like, dude,
point and click. See ya.
Boom. Gone.
See ya. Yeah. See, that's why, I mean, as much as I love people.
Well, you know what, though, you guys? This has to be somebody we know that's doing it for them to find me that quick on Hangouts.
It's somebody.
Because I'm really hard to find on Hangouts.
Guess what? Chez says the fake Sean G is on Timmy's live chat.
Ah.
They I don't know.
They're weird, man. I can't even get over this. I feel like really bad. I apologize, you guys.
It's okay. You didn't know.
You didn't know.
Oh, I didn't, because it's funny because me and Sean haven't talked for a real long time, and then the other day he came into I was able to talk to him again because I haven't been around much. So for him to ask wasn't surprising because I know that Sean, he likes coming on panel, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
He likes chopping it up. He's cool, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought anything different.
Right,
You know?
me either.
So,
Right. Yep.
wow.
Yeah, everything seemed cool until he didn't say anything when everyone was saying hi to him, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was like. I don't know about this one, and then all of
Yeah,
a
he just
sudden, I
he just
was
kept his
talking to
mouth closed.
myself.
Yep. Like what? He's like, unmute yourself.
Well, you know, behind the scenes, I think we should have a code for friends.
We'll do that on the back chats. Yeah.
Well, you know
That's what I
what?
mean, like in the back
Yeah.
chat.
You know what? You know what you might have to do? You might have to delete all of the back chats because apparently whoever it is has access to at least the room that's being used. So if they have access to that one, odds are they got access to the other ones. And then, you know, it's just a matter of, I mean, it's probably easier said than done. And Sean's real good at this kind of stuff. Once you start adding people again, you know, that's the only time you can really, I mean, you might not be able to figure out exactly who it is, but at least you know it's somebody that was added again.
Dude, that's like
I don't
last
know.
night, Dre. I was having so much trouble getting on Sean's panel, dude.
Yeah, I was like, was I on Sean's panel last night?
Yeah, it was last night. We
Yeah, I
were all
think I
chilling.
was. That's right. Yeah,
we
that's
were all
right.
chilling last night. We're talking about the rock porn, remember?
Yeah. Oh,
90s,
yeah,
you
that's
guys talking about the
right.
keys again.
Rock
We always
Yeah.
porn.
just talk
Oh
good
my
shit, bro.
goodness. Yeah, we talked about all kind
We
of
had Candy on there too. You had that
yeah, that's
icon,
right.
that crazy looking snake.
Oh
Remember
yeah,
that
not the
snake?
snake. Oh man,
Just
yeah.
say this person comes back on, right? Because I didn't eject them. I just
Nah,
ended the hangout.
there's
If I eject them, that means they can't get back on.
No,
if
they
you were,
can't. They can't use your
yeah,
information here.
they can just mess
Okay.
It's
around with the
yours
back
because that's
chat.
going from your. It's going through your YouTube. Yeah, they could just be assholes. Like everybody can leave that one hangout, and he'll be by himself.
Right. Unless it's somebody that's, you know, amongst us.
It's
And
obviously somebody we know, you guys. For
I,
somebody to message me that quick, I'm really hard to find on Hangouts, and I have it like that for a reason.
I'm gonna say this. I ain't gonna say no names just because I kind of did that once before, and it wasn't what it was, you know, whatever. But anyway, but there's somebody that, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm pretty sure Sean's probably on the same page. They're very questionable, and it's somebody
Someone
that's
message me a name. I think
very
that you're.
well liked.
You better
What?
message me. You better message
Yeah.
me.
See, I mean, but
Because
you know
I
what?
think it's the same person.
Yeah, it
I'm
might be,
almost
but
positive we're talking about the same person.
before I do that, though, I'm gonna check with Sean, you know, just to make sure. But it's to me the certain situation that I'm kind of referring to without actually talking about it. There was or three possibilities, and put it this way: it was a panel. There were three people or four people, including the host. Anyway, somebody was able to basically take over the show. So they had to get the key from one of the people that was on the panel. Out of those three people that was on the panel, it had to be this particular one. That's all. I'm just going to leave it at that. There's no other way to put it. Nobody can hack into that live stream without the key.
Yep.
They had to get it. They had to get it from somebody, and it had to be one of the people that was on that panel. And out of the three people that was on that panel, to me is a no-brainer. Once it was kind of, you know,
Well,
looked
you
at
know, a
like
certain
that.
person came on my panel one time and sniped Sean off my panel, and I got pissed.
Really,
Mm-hmm.
a well-known person.
Mm-hmm. I was like, hey, what'd you do that for? And so it's a little joke we have between each other. I said, that's bullshit. So when this
Wait.
person will sit on panels, not talk, but everybody invites him to panels. Look, I sent you a message.
Oh yeah, I'm not even looking. I'm about to. Wow. because if it's not funny, but
I just feel bad. I have to stop. I'm not the first one that ever fell for it, but I feel like I am because FPV is like
Feels dupes.
no, Marlena.
what's up with that signal, dude? That thing was crazy.
Yeah,
Gravity
we
got
broke
it.
right up. Missed it all.
Gravity was pulling it.
Oh, me?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yes.
Oh, it's because I was going through Discord and checking people's IPs to make sure that person's not in my chat room.
Yeah.
If it was the
Transition
real
is crazy.
Georgie that I blocked, then we will add him back. But I don't know. Oh God, it's just so boring, isn't it? But anyway, we're back. We're back on.
We're gonna continue.
We've
Talking
lost
about what we're talking about.
music, but they must have gone to sleep. I've messaged Patricia. She must have fallen asleep because it's quite late here. But we're back. Bit boring, isn't it? Everybody's just out to attack you
And
all
we
the
got
time.
sniped.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Man, really? Can they not figure out something better to do with their time? You know, like research the globe they think they live on?
Oh, I don't know what to
Right,
say.
but I'm like trying to type to you guys, and it's not like I keep pressing enter, and it's going blank.
What does that mean, Marlena?
Like I keep typing in here in our group chat where you wrote with little heart there, where you were asking whatever right there. I did type something, but it's not letting me. Okay, there it goes. It just went. That's the one that sniped my
Yes.
channel one time.
Are you saying to me?
She was asking you, and there, so that she knows as a host.
Oh no, yeah, because I had just sent the message. I thought you were responding to what I asked.
You asked. You asked.
All right, Gravity Girl.
Yeah.
Am I still being robot?
Yeah, you are.
Sorry.
Yeah, every now and then it sounds like you're trying to walk through the gravitron, man.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Whew.
Yeah.
Isn't it nice to be able to laugh at stuff like this, though? Like when you actually realize
Yeah.
how stupid it is. I mean,
Yeah.
Marlena's been laughing at this her whole life, but
I know.
We're
Crazy.
Yeah, she is.
all of us babies to the game, we're kind of just still wet behind the ears, you know?
Smelling like Similac.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's really good. I was just very quickly looking at my emails, and I messaged Bro Sanchez to say that Aaron was coming on the 16th, and he's written back to say I'm in. So that's good. Aaron's looming.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, so what dates does the conference
it's
over here start?
maybe see if Santos wants to come in. It'd have to be about this time at night. For me, it's this time, Santos.
Yeah, he does. Yep.
Hey, does anybody know if Sanchez is going to the conference?
I don't know. I don't remember what he said when he was here the other day.
I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I shared Santos Bonacci's video with my father, and I wonder what he thought about that. I can't wait to talk to my dad about what he thinks about all that stuff. I don't know. You know, my dad's not. You know, he's the reason why I'm a flat earther, but there's a lot of stuff that he doesn't know about, and I'm sharing that information with him, and it's great to see him, you know, go where we're at, you know, get where we are, you know, it's pretty cool. My pops is almost 70.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that's interesting. Like a lot of the people I knew growing up, and even that I know now, it's interesting because their parents were always like 50, 60 years old and stuff like that. And like, dude, my grandpa is like 75.
Word.
I think, I don't know, maybe I just have a young family, I guess. We kind of go up in like 20-year increments, you know?
Right on.
You're able to like basically count down from like my great grandparents all the way down to us, and every 20 years there's a group of kids.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
But yeah, dude, it's just,
Yeah, but no,
it's
going
always,
back to, I know, totally got off subject. Going back to Santos Bonacci. Yeah, I want to know what my pops thinks about that. He's I can consider my father a Christian, and Santos kind of, he's not anti-Christian, but in a different perspective and what it all means. And I just told my father not to take offense to it and just, go with it like with an open mind, like he's always been like. And I just can't wait to hear what he has to say about all that. You know what I'm saying? It'd be interesting.
I get what you're saying, Mike, because, I mean, I'll be the first to admit, I like Santos, but he's not really my favorite person to listen to. But
Okay.
at the same time, I do like hearing what he says about like the fallacies in like the Catholic Church and stuff like that, and like the way things have been hidden in the Bible, and like a lot of the twisting around that's gone on over the last however many years, I do appreciate that, and I completely, yes, I very much so respect Santos, but I don't agree with stuff that he comes up with. But you know what? I don't have to agree with everything,
Exactly. Yeah. You resonate with certain things and you move on. That's all. Exactly. I like a lot of the things he says, pretty much.
Listening to Dre, though, Dre's
there's a
way
lot to learn from
quite.
him. I feel like so. I'm still there. I'm still right there with him. But we'll see.
When Dre's talking, he sounds quite like Santos. That what he's understood. What he's understood about this.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What was that?
Without putting you to someone else, when you were talking the other day, when you first came out with how you thought this whole thing was that we were in and what it was about, how Santos talks.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, brother, you're good.
I like Santos.
When you break down words, Dre, I think that's what she's talking about when you break down your words like that all the time. Etymology. Etymology.
Got it out.
Yes.
Well, he sounded like someone who'd understood what Santos was talking about.
Yeah, you know what? I like Santos. It's like he tends to leave me I don't even know what the word is that I'm looking for, but I don't know. The stuff that he presents is just kind of like, to me, it makes me think in ways that, like, put it this way, he's one of few people that when I hear what he presents, it literally makes me think about things that I've never thought about before, or at least thought or think of it in a different way. And when somebody, to me anyway, has that ability, to me, they're powerful, they're special. You know what I mean? So I definitely resonate with what he brings to the table for sure, as I'm sure many people do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He gets you thinking about
You know what, Dre? I'm right there with you on that one, dude.
Yep.
Even though I don't agree with them, I at least like the fact that when I listen to him, the man at least makes me think,
Yep.
Right. Right.
About stuff you don't
Absolutely.
usually think about. Exactly.
Yeah.
He's the first one to say it's not that he's come across all this information. This is what he's come across, all this information, and he's put it together.
And he's just sharing it with us. That's it. Yeah. He's sharing the information.
Right.
He's a vessel of information. He's brilliant.
Definitely.
I like it. Yeah.
I'm just going to get a drink, okay? I'm just going to quickly nip and get a drink. I need a drink
Hey,
after
Dre.
the moment.
Hey, Dre. Bro, real quick.
What's up?
Talking about yesterday about the Grand Canyon, right? I think I understand what you were talking about, dude, about how, like, if it was being washed down, there would be different groups of the different, like, mineral deposits and stuff like that, right? Because, I mean,
Absolutely.
like when, like what we do with, like when they do, like, the gold and stuff like that down the river. Like the rocks stop at a certain point because that's as far as they go. The gold keeps going, or the gold stops at a certain point. The
Right.
debris keeps going. You know, like it all gathers in little groups as it moves downstream. You know.
See, and I'm glad you said that about that topic, because one of the things, and you know, and I'll admit this too, like a lot of the information that I talk about is stuff that I literally came across years and years ago before I understood the implications of it or how it fit into the large picture. Well, anyway, like I was always into, you know, whether it was Discovery Channel and, you know, Channel 12, where they show, you know, all the weird stuff. But
Same here, bro.
one of the things that sticks out in my mind about what you just said about the gold is one of the tricks that these 49ers picked up on back in the day as far as locating gold is they actually figured out that when a river or a stream or whatever, the way that it meanders from left to right, the gold deposits are always found on the right side where the water. So imagine a
Where it's
water's
bending around the curve or whatever, right? Like, or
right,
like where it's
right.
bending around the corner, or where
Exactly,
it's banking or
exactly,
something.
exactly, and it had something to do with the weight of the gold and how it flowed with the water and all this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. So my thinking to me says that whoever was, you know, digging around inside what we call the Grand Canyon for whether it was minerals, gold, whatever the case may be, they probably had an understanding of this type of concept, and they probably used it to their advantage, you know, and let water run these resources down so that, you know, so that they wouldn't have to be, you know, whatever. So I'm glad you said that. But yeah, and then when you look at these turnbacks, maybe these turnbacks were, you know, purposely or strategically designed to do just that, separate all these you know, different types of minerals, rocks, or whatever the case may be, gold, silver, who knows what was in there, you know. So we can't just take this feature and just automatically accept that it's a natural feature as what we're told by, you know, whether it's education system or the government. We already know that the vast majority, if not everything that they tell us, is bullshit. Why would we take the Grand Canyon and look at that any differently? We need to look at it in different ways.
Skeptically, yeah.
Exactly, but according to, you know, things that corroborate the possibility of whatever scenarios we may come up with, and to me, this is just one scenario that's a possibility, whether it's through you know, a certain type of technology or just, you know, understanding how water separates things, you know, when
Yeah.
it's flowing downhill. So
Honestly, I don't think there's enough time for the water to cut through that much rock like that, dude. I think you would have to
I,
have so many years.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. I just think that feature is way too massive, you know, to be caused by what they claim to be, you know, a flood.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously,
Well,
you know, I'm just saying real quick. Obviously, erosion has occurred over the years from whatever rains that it's been exposed to. But I just don't, or I just no longer believe in the idea that was created by a flood. or a series of floods.
And you know what? That kind of struck something with me last night when we were talking, and I was like, you know, I wonder if the Grand Canyon is the only one like that, dude.
Honestly,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
dude, it can't be the only big ass canyon in the world, you know?
yeah. I mean, as far as in the States, obviously, it's the only one that I'm aware of. But as far as its scale, I think it may be unique.
I know that you've not maybe seen some of Sun and Moon, but Chris Monk reckons that and I could even bring up the videos to show you that these great big arkings happened.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you said that because we actually were talking about that the other day too. The gentleman that was actually presenting that experiment, we were wanting to know his name because I was directing people to go check out his work on your channel. Yeah,
the guy that talked about trees getting cut down. Right? Who was it?
Yes, Chris something.
But Chris Monk, and what he reckons was that this electrical arcing caused the Grand Canyon. It ripped everything up. And then it landed back down. That's how the canyon was caused. And it wiped us out, he reckons, originally. They were wearing.
And I reckon the arcing came from the sun and moon. The crater tide show being the minus, the negative arcing, it causes craters on Earth, and the positive arcing from the sun would cause mounds.
See, and that's exactly, well, I wasn't saying that, but that's what I found intriguing about what Chris was talking about, because I do believe when you look at the system as a whole, somehow, like he was just saying, I guess the moon would be like the anode, and then I guess the sun would be the cathode or whatever. You got the salt water, you got the magnetism in the center, North Star, so that's to me, that's a very, very feasible. You know, I do have, just from what I saw in the videos, I'm not sold on the idea that, like, for instance, Devil's Tower was created by the arcing. Although I do understand the principle of how these features are created according to the experiment that Chris presented. Like I get that experiment, but I just don't see the structure of Devil's Tower being a result of that. And then, you know, with further exposure to his information, and then perhaps I might change my mind. But at this time, you know, I just wanted to say that.
I think the destruction would be around it, where you see the gouges in the ground, not the tower itself. That's something completely different. Looking at that.
So would the tower be a result of the positive portion or the negative?
It would be a positive if it was a strike. You know, it would cause mounds. I'm not sure of its height. I've never really looked at the Devil's Tower. Is it stone?
Yeah, as far as I know, it's like basically granite or some type of basalt.
Mm-hmm. It looks like petrified wood, but I don't know. I have a piece of it. When I was there, I have a little piece that I got from there. And it looks to me like petrified wood. But petrified wood is rock.
Kind of strange that petrified wood turns into rock. Like, isn't that kind of weird to anybody else?
Yeah, it's weird to me too.
Well, but for petrification takes a certain takes certain conditions.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not mistaken, even being buried on some level might be required. I'm not 100% on that, but I think it may be a factor, because what happens with petrification is as the biological mass basically disintegrates and moves away, it's slowly replaced with the minerals. Like the minerals leach into the fiber per se, and then it basically decays the biological matter, and then those minerals crystallize and turn into rocks basically. So how does something
rocks are being pushed up, by the way? They do get pushed up. I wondered
where everything had been petrified. That's what we were looking at. We think it's stone. but it's not. It's been petrified somehow. But
Well, when you like, for instance, what I'm saying is like when you look at it's somewhere out in that area. I think it's called Petrified Forest National Park or something like that. Like when you look at those what are called petrified trees, they have color variations, you know, and things like that. You see like oranges and greens and whatever they got. They have almost like a jewel like quality to them. But Devil's Tower, that structure doesn't have that same color variation. For one, the structure of the rock or the material is completely different. Well, I don't want to say completely different, but it's very different. It, like for instance, mainly because it doesn't have the color variations, and not only that, but the columns of Devil's Tower, they're all basically perfectly vertical hexagons.
can I just say how Chris thinks that happens? That's again like because of this positive and negative arcing, something has to gives, and those things have happened because of what these electrical arcings. You can find them on Google Earth. I'm sure you've watched that video where you can see the arcings where the positive goes in and the negative comes out, or the other way around. And that's he did like a presentation on that.
Yeah, I just
Originally, you reckon that the people were already wearing headgear, like when they depicted this certain set of people, they had the rings which they were seeing in the sky. Once those rings got to a certain point, we were obliterated. That's what he reckons. You know, like being hit with one of those electrical arcings would have been like, well, I don't know, much worse than a nuclear bomb. It'd have been enormous. It killed most of us.
Looking at Devil's Tower now, I was just looking at it. It looks like the rock's being stretched upwards, like it's grown upwards when you look at it. So I would say there's probably an angel below it.
And don't forget, we lived underground as well. For a while, we have lived underground. There are communities under the ground. Many of them tunnels. I mean, I was talking on like the other hangout. Like I just came across this BBC program talking about the sewage system under Rome, which also has other systems in it, which brings water in, so it feeds fountains. 2,000 years old, and then they said, but looking into it, is there 4,000 years before BC? So we're talking of 6,000 years. It's waterproof. And the system they've got stops Rome flooding, keeps the flies out, does all the sewage, and brings water in. This thing is amazing. Just made little clips off the television. I mean, and I sent it in, and I sent it to. Did I send it to Josh? I think I sent it to Josh.
Yeah, you sent it to me yesterday. I was watching that. I told you that. I find it kind of interesting because even in their own documentary, they're showing water go up and over the ball, uphill.
Yeah. And then they do say gravity keeps water down, whatever it is. But unfortunately, that's been, we know that bit's not right.
gravity.
But this whole system under Rome.
At the same time, I think that whole system is amazing. And I think it's just goes to show when... when you hear people talk about how we've evolved since back then, you know, and it's like, no, I think we're a lot stupider now.
Listen to what that article said. It said that it's 4,000 years before the AD.
Exactly. Sure.
We're talking of 6,000 years, and the drainage system and how it brings the water up to the fountains still works.
Show me a house from the 30s where the piping system is still working correctly right now.
6,000 years old, it still works.
And even if it does work, you're probably gonna get it from the lead anyway.
Yeah, or I mean, you're gonna use it for a little while. It's gonna work, yeah, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're spending 15 grand to have your foundation redone because you blew a pipe. You know.
Yeah, it's oh my gosh. Yeah,
I'm just saying,
we definitely devolved.
old and this
Yeah.
is still working.
Well, we didn't.
Well, not us per se, but
As
just
a whole.
exactly.
Right. Yeah.
I'm wondering if it is that old though. I don't know. Who knows anymore?
We're more woke than the people back then. We just got to fix things, correct things,
Just
re-engineer
asking a
stuff.
question, right?
Things
Or
need to
ask
be
the panel.
re-engineered correctly. That's all. Put back into norm.
Who believes we're thousands of years old and we come from they've lied about the pyramid people and all that, but thousands of years old. And who thinks that we may not be as old as they say, the whole thing that we're in? Because they can always make history up.
That's a
Well,
good
I know for
question.
sure. I know for sure in my culture, for sure, we're 15 to 20,000 years old because we have radiocarbon dated things here in our community. Also, the stories and everything are on our, in stone and stuff, and they did it for a reason so it wouldn't break down.
Except
They were
radiocarbon dating doesn't really
radiocarbon.
work.
I was going to say I
Seen
don't
it
know
work.
how
I've seen it work.
valid I don't know how valid radiocarbon dating is anymore. I mean, it used to be like the holy grail of dating, and it's
Yeah,
been under a lot
it
of
used to be
it's
the
been under a
go-to,
lot.
huh?
Yeah, it's been under a lot of fire
Well,
lately,
okay.
and
Well, not only that. Okay, if I put that aside, the things that we do have and the stories and the teachings we do comes from person to from generation to generation. You could People can totally date back our family here, as far as they can possibly go. We have things that were theirs, things that wasn't just like, okay, my uncle made this yesterday, I'm gonna try to pass this off as 20,000 years old. You know what I mean?
right.
That's the reason why we have mounds. And, our native people everywhere built their mounds. If you see these hills, don't touch them, leave them. There's a reason why they're done like that. Over here we have it called the Augustine Mound, where our ancestors, put stuff in them. It looks just like a hill. Like a lot of people found them in their own, areas.
Burial
For
mounds.
specific, exactly.
What if I'm
Can I
sorry,
just
you
say
done?
something though? This whole thing over here with Silbury Hill and the Stone Circle, sort of 20, 30 miles away from me, those things on the side of the road, they said were burial mounds. But now Silbury Hill turns out to be a pyramid. I'm not all sure what these stone circles are exactly because of all they're doing or could have done. They're like, no, it just boggles me. Like, are they actually burial mounds now? Are they something to do with Stone Circle and the pyramid?
There's ways, there's ways that you could find out because there's that we have here that you can see underneath the ground, see what's under there by this. It kind of like scans, right? So what it does, it'll scan through whatever's underneath your ground so you don't have to dig it up. And it goes down really, really far. I have no idea what it's called, though. I'll have to look
Ground
it up.
penetrating
See what it's
radar.
called.
Ground penetrating
Something
radar?
like
But even for this
No.
pyramid, right, most people know it is Silbury Hill and think it's some mound of nothing. And yet it's in the pyramids of the world as a pyramid. And yet hardly anybody around here knows it's a pyramid. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. If you use the Carolyn photography, that
That's
also
weird.
shows energy. That it is quite weird, but it's really amazing at the same time. Is you can see energy coming out of this stuff when you take those kind of pictures.
And what's the key thing
The
about
real
energy?
deal, that is. The real thing, that is.
The key thing about energy is it can't be destroyed and it can't be created, so it's infinite. So what if, in fact, we're ageless and we don't really have an age per se? We have time frames that we experience as far as
Man-made. Yeah.
well, yeah, as far
Yep.
as physicality, we have time frames, but on some level, just on the concept of energy alone, in my mind, especially in conjunction with things like the Creator, we probably don't have an age. We just kind of go through cycles where we, for whatever reason, we incarnate to learn things, experience things, and
Learn limits.
Yeah, whatever the
Yeah,
ultimate
it's
goal
part
of
of
that
the
is, I don't know, but I think we're ageless.
process. Yeah, and I said this on our last panel with Karen, how, you know, people have to put that aside, that there's a beginning and an end to things. We don't have that here in our teachings. We'll say, okay, this is the end, then you die, or this is this, then it dies off. It's bullshit. You know what I mean? That's a bunch of bullshit. Everything does go in a cycle. We have, um, when you have the, what do you call it? When you have your cycle of
Well, your
the
cycle,
animals and stuff for
right?
how
The
it's
cycle of life. Well, this is just it's just a it's just a
right.
continuation of the 360 degrees, the circle, the completion. Everything is cyclic, from the system that we live in to your daily activities. Everything is on a cycle, and I think that applies on a micro and a macro level. When you look at the stars and the planets, or whatever you want to call them, everything's on a cycle. Everything repeats. It repeats constantly, and in my opinion, it hasn't changed. It never will change. It can't be changed. That's just what we live in.
Because it's
In
man
my
that made
opinion,
up the clock to watch. There's an
right?
end, there's a beginning, there's an end. It was man that did that. It wasn't how it really is.
Absolutely, and that's to control you. The concept of time that we use is not you know the the natural version, if you will, the natural version of time, as far as it was meant for us to experience, is experienced through the cycles of the moon, stars, and the planets. That clock that you see on the wall is something that some guy created in order to, box you into a paradigm where you can be controlled. So that's how I look at the time. Like you said, is, the time that we experience is a man-made time, as opposed to a cosmic time or natural time.
Yeah, they're trying to make you believe that all you are is a meat suit, when you're not. You're more than that.
Yeah, your spirit in a meat suit. That's about it. And excuse me, I use this kind of. It's not real. Well, I guess it is an analogy, and I use it a lot. Like, one of the longest highways around where I live is I-95. It stretches from Florida, like, all the way up to Maine. And to me,
isn't that a popular highway?
yeah, it's very popular. But to me, if your soul, if that highway represents the length of your soul, the life that you experience currently might be the length of the first mile marker on that highway. So that, to me, that's the extent of it. So you are far more than the body that you are in currently. This is just an experience. The things that make you, the person that you are within this body is going to continue to go on. That's something that's never
That's
going to
right.
end. It's about what type of energy you choose to be in your existence. And I don't think, people can change, as far as, we make mistakes and people change or whatever and do better for themselves. But on like a soul level, to me, you kind of have like a baseline energy. That's not something that you can kind of alter on that level. You are what you are, and that comes out through your natural behaviors. That's something that I don't think that anybody can escape.
You take your personality with you.
Absolutely, you are you are you are who you are before you came here. I think Jay-Z said that.
I don't know. I don't listen to him.
Well, he did. He said it.
Okay, cool.
He used to be all right.
Nah,
He used to be good.
yeah, he's a puppet too. He's actually a sellout. You know what I mean? He
Yeah,
sold
but he
out.
was good. The
Yeah,
Black
no,
Album.
he is good, but he's got a force behind him that guarantees his success, because he's a
Yeah,
tool. He
yeah.
has the
Now,
power. Yeah, he has the power to corral millions of people and have an influence over them. So
yeah.
yeah, he's definitely, even though it seems like he's trying to drop a jewel now and then for the people or whatever, to kind of open up their eyes or whatever. At the same time, it's just like the rest of them. He's just a puppet. He's just doing
Yeah.
what he's meant to do.
Yeah.
People just need to be more cognizant of who they devote their energies to, because because we devote way too much time, energy, and resources to these elite superstars that, you know, at the end of the day, they just don't have your best interest
They
at
want us to
heart.
live. They want us to dream like they do. Exactly. They want us to dream like they do and be like them, and to constantly, you know,
Yeah,
keep up with the Joneses and live our life trying to do so. When in reality, we're not supposed to be doing that. We're supposed to be caring about each other
right,
and taking care of ourselves as you know, energy beings, as spiritual beings. Not I need to buy this so because Jay-Z has a pair of sneakers, I need to buy them.
right. And that's exactly what happens. People
I'm just using it
live.
as so.
Well, yeah. I mean, people try to live through you know, through the celebrities that they admire,
Hmm.
and many times that forces them to live beyond their means. You know, they're not being themselves; they're just emulating someone else. So basically, you know, when you do that, somebody's already pre-programmed your existence for you. You know, from how you look to how you act.
Hmm.
There's no individuality, and that's one of the major problems I see with society nowadays. People are afraid, as much as people try to be individuals, you know, to a degree they are, but at the same
And it's hard
time,
when people judge. Exactly, but there's then you get the people that judge you, and a lot of people
right,
don't want to be judged like that. You know, this one's going to judge you if you look this way or act this way, or, you know, how many people can actually say you can go, there's a whole bunch of people in a park and you go rolling down a hill, what they're going to think of you as an adult to do that, you know, or to start doing something childlike because it's fun. You know, people look at you a certain way and then you're being, you know, you feel that judgment. Someone looks at you a
yeah,
certain way and stuff. You can't just, you know, they want you to act a certain way without
yeah,
all the time.
I just say to hell with what people think about you. It ain't none of your
I do
business.
too.
If they
I
ain't
do
putting
too.
if they ain't putting food on your table, they ain't paying your,
That's right.
your bills. They're not
Yep.
contributing to
And
your life in
if
some
someone's talking,
positive way.
exactly, if they talk about you, it's none of your business. Ever.
Yeah.
That's it.
Just
Later.
focus on yourself. That's it.
There
Mm-hmm.
you go.
Exactly.
Just keep putting out that positive energy. You know, you get back what you put out. It doesn't always come back in the form that you want or expect, but you know, when you put out the good vibes, those good vibes come back to you.
In beautiful ways, though. It sure
Yeah.
does.
Absolutely. And usually, you know, at the times where you need that good vibe to, whether it's uplift you or help you out of a situation or whatever, it comes. I mean, I can vouch for that all day. But at the same time, I've always been, you know, a relatively good person. I mean, I'm not perfect, but I can definitely say that if it were to come to a situation right now where my life is on the line and what I've done with my life as far as how I treat people and how I've acted while I was here, I'd be completely, totally happy and secure with whatever is going to happen to me on the other side according to my behavior. I'll leave it, you know, I'll put it like that. Um,
Wow, that's amazing, yo. You know, you're telling your story earlier about you being an atheist, and now you've come full circle to, you know, thinking of spirituality and like
right.
possibly
Realizing
having
you have
eternal
accountability
life.
to something greater.
Yeah, man, it's awesome to hear your story. Cause I'm
Oh,
serious. Good
absolutely.
stuff, man.
I mean, I do want to say this though. Even when I didn't believe in the creator, you know, in an aspect like I do now, I was still always like a good person. You know, I still treated people with the utmost respect. You know, I just
Yeah,
didn't believe in,
isn't it kind of hard to be a jerk?
well,
It
you know,
takes a lot of
honestly, I
work,
don't.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it does.
And I don't understand. Like, I understand how like society can kind of wear down on you, you know, and it makes you want to like lash out. Like, I get all that, but for the amount of people jerks the way that they are, it's just mind-boggling. Like, it's like, man, something's got to
Well, there's some
give.
people that you run into. It seems like there's really just horror, you know.
All I know was gravity was being a jerk to your signal because you was just all kind of broke up.
Yeah, you got gravity, yo. That's what we're gonna call it.
It's true that, you know, these people, the reason why they act this way is because they're deflecting something that's been going on with them. Like maybe they were made fun of a lot when they were little, you know, all these things. And now they finally have control. They think it's control over something, say a chat, for instance. You know, they grew up somebody picking on them or them being like the odd man out. So now this makes them feel powerful.
Let me tell you something.
It's the same thing. Tell me something, Dre. Tell me, Dre.
At the end of the day, that is people's choice to be that way. I can literally, like, I was picked on as a kid. I mean, like, literally, I can, whatever, stop. I could sit here probably for the next.
I mean it.
I can sit here. No, seriously. I could sit here and tell you for like the next hour and a half all the trials and tribulations and struggles that I had to face from the time that I can remember up until present day, and how it could have and should have turned me into a bitter, you know, just cold-hearted son of a bitch. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, and I chose not to let it take over me like that, because that's not the type of person that I want to be. So for people that take those instances in life that beat them up and they use that as an excuse to be a piece of shit, they need to go flush themselves. I mean, it is what it is.
You're right.
That's a choice. You either choose to be a good person or
you don't.
Or you don't.
But that's what I mean. This is their chance to have this powerful. I mean, I've seen it before. Bullies. They're bullies. You know. I think this is so wonderful. But if you've seen them one-on-one in real life, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, see, I was that kid in school that I can honestly say between like maybe 5th grade. Maybe 4th grade and 6th or 7th grade, like a kid picked on me and I was too shy to like stick up for myself or whatever else, blah, blah, blah. And one day I just beat the shit out of him, you know, and that was the end of it. So it was like, I kind of like, I understand how that bullying thing goes, but once you stand up to them, normally it's not a problem. But yeah, I could have used that instance to be a little bit more of a jerk when I was a kid. And then, you know, after that, I used to get into fights with all the kids that were my brother's age, and then my brother would beat me up because he would have to fight the kids that were older than me that were beating me up.
Right.
I could have used that to kind of like add on to the pile and just be a jerk and treat people, you know, whatever. It's
yeah.
And
but you have too much of a kind heart to do that, though.
Well, yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do. Please, you do.
But
you don't sound too convinced there, Dre.
Well, because I got a nasty streak. I mean, I got a real nasty streak, and I try my best to keep it in check, because it's one of those types of things where, you know, people look at me and they're like, yo, that's not the same person that I was just talking to 20 minutes ago that was all calm and, you know, articulate or whatever the case may be. Yeah, I can flip the script real quick, and sometimes people drive me to that, but I don't like to be that way because I can be impulsive at some you know, and I don't want to, you know, get myself in trouble.
Well, you can't say people drive you to that. You give people that power over you to do that. No, but this is what it is. I'm not saying you in particular. I'm talking about in general. People give away a power when they allow somebody to let them feel a certain way. If you're going to let somebody, because you do let somebody get you angry. You listen to their bullshit. You let them get you angry. You know, it's a skill to not let people get you like that, or to walk away at a certain time. It's harder. It's easier said than done. I understand that, but it's the truth.
I'll give you an example, and this kind of had a little bit to do with the reason why I just kind of walked away from my construction job, is because it was getting to the point where, like, literally by 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm about to slit this dude's throat, and then I'm wondering where I can hide him and not get caught. You know, like seriously, and I hate to kind of say stuff like that, but these were the type of people that I were dealing with, because they knew that for most as basically as I can put it, for the most part, I'm a fairly passive person, and sometimes
Until it
people.
matters.
Right. Well, sometimes people, for
Mm.
whatever reason, they want to test the limits of your passivity. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't get a response from you, so they kind of like want to keep cranking it up because they feel like, oh, they're going to get to you eventually. But then
Kindness
when,
is weakness, right, Dre?
well, it's not a weakness. Kindness, at least in
No,
my
no, no, no.
particular,
I mean, they take your kindness as weakness.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I
No,
get what Josh was getting at. Yeah, he wasn't
absolutely.
saying it.
No, no,
Yeah.
no. Absolutely, I agree with him. But for me, in my instance, my kindness is basically a safety for the person that's receiving the kindness, and they just don't realize it.
Yeah, I get what
You
you
know what I
mean.
mean? But
Yeah.
Yeah.
like it was a handful of people that I worked with on a daily basis, and they would like literally go out of their way and make it a point to try and like ruffle my feathers, you know what I'm saying, just to try to get a rise at me. And after about 6 years of it, it gets old. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep. They
Eh,
just busting your balls. I know what you mean.
right. So I
Yeah.
had words with one of the people or whatever, and you know it almost got into a fighting type of thing or whatever, and it never really got that serious. But when it's to the point where I got to make money and every day I got to go to work and I'm literally thinking about breaking your fucking neck by 9 o'clock or even taking your life, you know, it's time for me to go.
Right.
And I'm not concerned about the money on that level. So at least I have the sense to do that and to walk away. But these are the type of people that I'm talking about that, you know, what's the point in trying to antagonize people to get a result, and then when you get the result that you were looking for, it's like, oh my goodness, like what's wrong with you, why you know what I mean, like really.
They want to
Beca-
trigger their emotional
It's like, dude, you
response.
got exactly what you were hoping for and what you were asking for right now. You know?
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
and I'm just the type of person that, yeah, I'm relatively even keeled, but at the same time, I'm an Aquarius, and playing with me is like playing with fire. You don't know what you're gonna get from day to day, and sometimes you might be in that kind of mood, and I might not be in that kind of mood, you know, and it could be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes I'm tolerant, sometimes I'm not, and it just got to the point with these people that my tolerance was pretty much exhausted, and the next step was show and prove, and show and prove meant me go to jail, and I'm not going to jail.
Yep.
You know, so these are types of jerks that I was surrounded by, and it just boggles my mind that people actually put energy into being this way on a daily basis, especially with somebody that's not even, you know, I don't bother nobody. I never bothered these people. You know, they just had, for whatever reason, because I like to keep to myself, you know, they want to.
Yeah. It's fine. I know what you
Because
mean.
you
Yeah.
looked like an easy target.
Well, no, they know I'm not an easy target. It's just that, like I said, over the
Well,
years, that, you know, people get to kind of know you, and they know that I'm known to be that person that you can't rattle his cage, this, that, and the other. So to them, it was kind of like a trophy almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I ain't got
Let's see if we can
I ain't got
piss them
time for
off. Yeah.
games. Yeah, I ain't
Piss,
got time for
piss them off.
games like that. I'm too
Yeah.
old for that shit. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. You know, put my time in and go the fuck home. I'm not here for that type of shit.
Yeah.
You know. But I will cut somebody in a heartbeat, though, if need be. I'm just saying.
yeah, you know what? Those episodes of CSI come in handy sometimes, huh, Andre?
Nah, I mean it's never that serious. I'm just
I know, bro. I'm just messing with you, dude.
nah. I'm just saying that as even keeled as I seem, I got a real nasty streak. You know what I mean? And it's kind of ugly.
I think what it is though, this bit back to actually being real with each other. You know, as long as we're real with each other, you'll stay a putty cat. Once we turn or threaten or use or lie, you're going to turn into the other person.
Yeah.
We're sick of the lying and that. And
Yeah,
surely
I
we
gotta
can.
watch out for that. You know, I really gotta watch out for that myself because I am really too good at being bad if I really want to be.
No, Josh, I don't believe it. You're a nice guy.
Yeah.
You never know.
Oh, let's not
He's
go
like,
too
That
only on
sounded kind of
Mondays.
crazy.
He's like,
not
yeah.
too deep. I I think what it is we're just fed up of being messed around. We've kind of been tortured, haven't we?
I've really tried to not be that kind of person, you know? And it's actually not hard. It's just, you got to not let things get to you so much, you know?
Yeah. I tried that. I'm much better.
Yeah. You can't let
It
anybody
does get
step
to
on
you a
you.
bit, though, doesn't it? You can't really get away from that, really, and you're just hoping every day, like a.
Hey, I'm not saying that it's perfect, dude. It's a work in progress, bro.
Yeah, it's definitely a work in progress. You know, it's definitely a work in progress. All I can say is I think that I have pretty good control of my temper, because I actually have a bad temper, and I try to keep it in check. I've been doing good.
Good. Yeah.
Doing good.
I'm the kind of person where once I do lash out, everyone trips out because I never lash out.
Yeah, and you seem like you're out of character, or you just kind of like had a bipolar
We all have
episode.
another side. We all have another side, don't we? You know,
Absolutely.
like I try and be as nice and caring as possible, but when you really, really push me, then I also then will turn into someone else. When you really upset me.
And see that
human nature.
And that should be a good.
It's normal, yeah.
It is, but that should be a good barometer for people, because generally, the nicer people are, the more you know, out of character and ravenous, if you will, the ugly side is. That's usually how it goes. You know, people that tend to be jerk offs in real life, they're already pretty close to their ignorant fighting side anyway, so they're already pretty close.
Yeah, and all those people stay friends because they don't lie to each other. It's the lying which causes the mistrust. Lying to yourself, lying about things, just using excuses all the time. It's the honesty which keeps us together, not the lying, not the withholding, not the games.
It's the openness.
Being open, honest. Yeah, it's this consciousness thing we're in now. That's what I think, anyway.
That's what it is, exactly. Expanding your awareness, your consciousness.
I think it's awesome how much our groups communicate, you know? Just because I think communication is such a huge part of everyday life, and I don't think we have enough of it.
I agree.
Like, even in relationships, like, you'll see a husband and wife, and they're fighting, and the whole reason why they're fighting is because they're not understanding each other, because they don't even know how to talk to each other.
Yeah. At least about
things that are all about that. There was this team of people. They were. He was a Jewish guy, and what it was is he was monitoring marriages. So he set these cameras up in their house, and first of all they're looking at it, and he goes, they've speeded it up, the pictures, so they're going, oh look, the parents are together. But have you noticed anything? They're not talking to each other. They're just children. So the next place they took them was to a place where they're wide up and they're sitting opposite each other, and they've got 15 minutes to talk to each other. Well, as they don't do this, there's going to be conflict, isn't there? Somewhere there's going to be something somebody doesn't like. So there was two sets of people. One was looking at all the words they used, and one was looking at the mendings or the breakings. So asked, like, did you pay the check-in? One of them asked. So the answer's going to be very loud. They're looking at the answer, and they could go, yeah, I paid it in. Ah, sorted, mended. Or he didn't pay it in. Now they're looking at the other person. Now it's up to, what's the other person going to do? Mend it or break it? So the other person goes, oh, God, you didn't pay the check-in. They've broken it. And they were looking at all the words that get said. And then it's like, quite often, I'm sorry, guys, it's the men. And they could watch the women almost like burst into tears. And they're going, hasn't he noticed what he's just said to her and how he said it and what he's called her? Didn't he just notice that? But anyway, so that kind of thing's going on. And then these other team are looking at the mendings. Now, unless a couple mend equally, the relationship's not working. If one's really mending and the other one isn't, it's just not working. It has to mend equally, roughly, about the same. Then the next place they took it, this was years ago, this program I watched. I only ever saw one of them. And And then basically they took them to what was called the Love Lab, but it was nothing to watch them having sex and that kind of stuff. It was actually just to see how they related to each other. So putting them in a sort of slight Big Brother thing because they're being filmed. So the wife's always chopping the vegetables up and trying to cook. And they're looking at the man and he doesn't look at her once. He's looking out the window. I'm over here. He's looking out the window. He's not looking at her. And then the last thing they wanted to see, I guess it's not a sexual thing. They wanted to see if they synced when they were asleep. Some couples turn over together and that. Anyway, his question to everybody was, are you masters or disasters? And in the end, he just said, it's not the arguing, because some couples laugh when they argue. Some talk, some cry, some shout. But he said those that are just violating each other is a disaster. And in the program, because this had children in it, he said you're married first. The children come second. That doesn't mean a baby isn't fed and all that kind of stuff. But quite early on, those couples are supposed to work out that their marriage is the most important thing, and the children do come second. Those children will leave home. That doesn't mean the children aren't important and you love them. But he's just, you know, and then basically what he needed to tell nearly every couple, it's like all those years you try and work out what's the matter. There's just a couple of words. Wait a minute. You are not compatible. And that was the answer.
Wow.
Most of these couples, they weren't compatible.
That's exactly why. That's exactly why they need renewal periods on the marriage license, just like every other license. You have to have a renewal.
Yeah, right.
You go in and you redo the process or whatever.
Yeah.
The best thing is to not lose each other in the first place, because once you've lost it, you can never get it back. You need to be honest from the beginning.
Yeah,
it's true.
Even that doesn't work sometimes. Sometimes people just grow apart, for whatever reasons.
That's true.
So I definitely think communication is key, but although I do say it jokingly with the renewal period for the marriage license, I'm dead serious that it really does.
You know what? Honestly, bro, I think that's a good idea.
It's only ever going to work with someone if you tell the truth from the beginning. Because if the conception is off, so will be the fruition. Everything won't work. You have to tell the truth.
Right.
I mean, you have to be honest about yourself. And if that person accepts you, then they're the one.
There you go.
Yeah, you're right.
Listen, I think marriages are becoming something of the past anyway. It's not like it used to be. The big families, the things that used to happen back in the day just don't happen anymore anyway. Society's it's way different. So I definitely think that slowly, whether it's by design or just by, the natural way that we respond to the system that we're in, I think marriages are kind of on the way out. It's pretty evident. I mean, or obvious, I should say, with the culture that we live in. It's hard nowadays. I mean, it's always been work to have a healthy marriage, but nowadays it's like 1,000 times more hard with all the whether you call it temptation or just distractions and things of this nature. It's like a gazillion times easier for people to have the company of people that they might not have otherwise had if it weren't for things like the internet. So I definitely think.
I have to say this, Dre. When I did a tea dance once. Now that's the old-fashioned dancing in the war. My goodness, you have to be really in tune to do that. It takes ages to learn how to do that when they've got their feet opposite each other and moving in sync like that. Maybe that helps save marriages. And the older generations stay together whether they're happy or not, whereas we don't anymore. We're not happy, we leave.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And if you live with someone for more than 6 months, you're kind of married anyway.
I don't mean to cut anything off. That the real Shmeen said that he's in chat now. He just got in.
The who?
The real Sean G.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We got to test
him. Yeah, no. I don't know, Marlena. Last time you got us all sniped.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying he's in your chat now. He said, I'm in chat now. I said, someone faked out your name, just let you know, and send him in chat right now. He said no, and then he messaged me later, and he's like, I'm in chat now, just got in there.
He's in the chat.
This is the real Sean.
Oh no. I'm gonna have to ask Sean a secret question.
Yep.
I gotta think of something. Oh, I know just the thing to ask him too. Where's he at?
He said he's in their chat now. He said, I'm in chat now, just got in there. I told him, I said, there was a guy who faked out your name and then sniped us.
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah, I don't see Sean in the chat.
I wonder what chat he's talking about.
He ain't talking
He's not
about
talking
this
about
one.
the right chat. I'll ask him. Well, this one for sure is our shot. Me and his conversation way back.
Can you ask him to write something in the chat room then?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's him. He jackass.
Okay.
I mean, you know, just a little inside joke, but that was right what I was looking for. Something along those lines. I'd say it's him.
Okay. Well, anyway, the chat where him and I are talking, that goes way back.
Yeah, well, he just sent me a message, and Sean, that would be what Sean would say.
We'll add him then.
Yeah, this one I'm on with him. We go way back from. Oh my God.
Yeah, now Sean's a good dude, and it's actually Sean used to be a call came in.
A globe head at one time. He was a globe head, and he changed to knowing that it's not a globe. And what do you call that? What he does? His job.
He's in construction. He's like a geodetic surveyor.
Surveyor. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Sean's a good dude.
Guys, chat goes back way months ago. This chat, I'm talking to him.
Who's just dropped out of the hangout then? Is that Josh has come back and just dropped out?
That was Uber. Yeah, Josh dropped out.
Yeah.
So can I just say though that it is 2:45 in the morning. I know this seems a bit mean because we got back on about an hour ago, but like we get Sean G on for a little bit, but I have to myself go at some point. I've got to get up to go to work.
I understand, Karen, and I appreciate, and I feel bad, and I apologize to everybody on here that
that's okay.
I was fooled. I was bamboozled.
Do you want to get him on for a little bit? I'll let you know. He can come on for a little bit.
He never answered. I told him to write something in your chat so we know it's him.
Haven't seen anything.
Well, Karen, we definitely appreciate you.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying we definitely appreciate you staying up with us and supplying the platform for us.
Yes.
We definitely appreciate you depriving yourself of sleep.
For me to talk to everyone, but this is great that we're talking, and I really like you, Dre. I think you're a really nice guy to, because obviously I don't know you very well, but so far you've been a really nice person. It's great to have you on this hangout.
I appreciate that.
There's a nice vibe here, can't we, between us? So it's good.
Definitely appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Like I say, Aaron's coming back on Thursday the 16th, I think it is, to talk about the Lumen project. Would you come and listen on that one?
Absolutely.
For sure.
Oh, you're gonna like it. Yeah, it's awesome.
Absolutely.
Is there any way in the chat room on the actual hangout here in this box where we've been writing stuff, you could actually give me your email address again, the one that you want me to use?
Sure, I'll put it in right now.
Thank you. And, in the future then, I can just add you to the hangout myself.
He said, I think I'm blocked. I'm saying hello, and now I'll type Yeah, this is the real Sean.
So I blocked the real Sean then.
He said something that only you and I and him know. Dre.
Y'all gonna stop messing with me about how I eat?
Well, that means he was in the chat earlier then.
Was he in the chat earlier on then, Marlena?
If he's blocked, he must have been in the chat because that was the one with the wrench.
Thank you, Larry. I appreciate that, brother. It was definitely nice. It's always nice.
Can I just say, Dre, is that a capital D on there?
Yeah, but you know what? Honestly, I think when the email might be a lowercase d, I think it just did a capital because when I type my name, it kind of tags me and highlights it.
Okay.
In for 5 minutes, then started practice.
Well, if we've actually blocked Sean G, but I said I would do it because I didn't know who it was. That means he had to have been in the chat room or someone was using his profile.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we should.
He said all he said was hi, and then he went to practice.
Yeah.
Whoever was using his profile said a lot more.
Hey,
exactly.
Dre.
Whoever's hacking these accounts, they know what they're doing.
Yep.
Because somehow it's linking. Somehow it's linking to his actual account because his actual account is blocked.
Yep.
Yeah, he needs to change his password.
And somebody was just saying the other day that apparently these trolls or whatever, they stepped it up a notch and now they're cloning wrenches and all this stuff. So you can't really tell the difference between.
You can't clone wrenches.
He said he's going to redo his password too right now.
Might be a little bit late to actually add him now. By the time he gets on, I do need to sort of finish the hangout soon. I wish I could leave it going, but then it would go for 8 hours. 7 hours, another 7 hours.
Yeah.
But it's been really great having you, Andre, and PV and Marlena and Judith and Patricia and Maria and Josh, who've been on today. And please come back, Dre.
I definitely will. I love coming here, so I definitely will be back. And I just want to say thank you very much for the hospitality.
But definitely the 16th with the Lumen Project, just to hear what Aaron's got to say. But anyway, I'm coming back now, but of course it takes ages for my camera to come back. Here we come. There I am. Woohoo! Earth hugs for everyone.
Hugs.
Yeah, we might be back tomorrow, but we're definitely back on Wednesday with Iron Realm Media. And thanks for jumping over. Thanks, Mr. Sniper. Thanks, everybody. Big flat earth hugs, and we'll be back soon. So I'm going to end the hangout now. And to everybody on the panel, to the chat room.
Peace and love.
Peace out, everybody.
To you all.
Yep.
Everybody.
Bye-bye.